Welcome to the Learn to Sew Academy channel. Please remember to subscribe. Thank you.
Now we're going to cut a belt sleeve. So the first thing you want to do is to fold your fabric into two, which is what I've done here. Again, you'll be marking on the wrong side of the fabric, wherever you identify to be your wrong side. So fold into two and then fold again, because we're cutting the two sleeves together. So we fold again, so you have 4 layers of fabric after you folded. The first thing you're going to do is you want to make sure that what you have is enough for your sleeve round. We're working with a sleeve length of 22 in total. Our sleeve round is going to be 11 inches. And then the armhole area, we're going to be working with total of 24. And since we're folding it, we're going to be looking at 12 across like this. We need to have 12. If you like a more detailed explanation on how to cut your armhole or your sleeve, please refer to my other videos. I'll link them in this video too. Check the description so you see more detailed explanation on cutting the sleeves. Now, because we're doing a belt sleeve, some part of it is going to be like a regular basic sleeve, and the bottom of it is going to be as like a circular sleeve. So we're going to be cutting the basic sleeve to be like 16 inches. Then the other part of it is going to be 6 inches. So our total sleeve is going to be 22 inches. So right now, I'm just going to check that what I have here is enough for my sleeve round, which is 11 divided by 2. That's going to be 5.5 right there. And then we're going to add a seam allowance, whatever you want your seam allowance to be. So I have enough for this. So this is enough for this right here is enough for my sleeve round. So I'm just going to cut out the portion for the basic sleeve, which is 16 inches. And I'm going to add my seam allowances. It's going to be half an inch at the bottom and half an inch at the top. That's going to be my seam allowances. So altogether, I'm going to be cutting out 17 from here. Again, I'm just doing this because I like to work with less fabric. When I have a lot of fabric, I just cut out the amount I need, so I work with less fabric. You can use a ruler to connect the dots, or you can also just cut it if it's not too wide an area you're cutting. So next thing now is to measure your sleeve round. 5.5 plus my seam allowance. And then right here I need 12, like I've explained earlier. Again, please check my tutorial on making a sleeve to know what to do. And the next thing is from here to this point of the armhole, I'm going to be joining them. So I can cut my sleeve in the slanty position that I need. I'm gonna put a notch right here, and my sleeve is done. Well, the first part of the sleeve is done. Now we're gonna do the circular part of the sleeve. Okay, so we're going to cut the lower part, the bottom part of the sleeve, the circular part of it. So that's what we want to cut now. To do that, we're going to measure we're going to calculate a radius, because what we're trying to do now is to make a circle, a continuous circle from this fabric. So we need to know what the radius will be. So for this sleeve round, we know that we add 11 inches. That's where we're going to be joining this circular part of the belt sleeve to the main body of the sleeve. So we had 11 inches there. So whatever we cut here must be able to tie to our 11 inches. So what we're trying to do is to calculate the radius. You're going to say the circumference, which is the sleeve round, which is 11 inches, divided by 6.28. Now, I'm not going to go into depth as to why we found how we got 6.28. It's just a calculation of how you calculate a radius. So we're going to say the circumference divided by the 6.28, and then we're going to find out what that equals. And what we got when I did the calculation was 1.75. Now remember that I always add half an inch of my sewing allowance. So from the 1.75, I'm going to take out 0.5, which is my sewing allowance, and that gave me 1.25. So to cut this out, I'm going to be using 1.25. So what I want to do now is I want to measure from this edge right here, from the center. What I did first, before I forget, is I first folded this way, and then I folded again this way, so that I have complete folds, like 4 layers of fold, you know, 2 this way, 2 this way, and then I have this full fold here. So that's what I did. So again, you want to do both an horizontal and a vertical fold. That's what you're doing here together. And then now that I know that I need 1.25, I'm going to now measure that over here. That's 1/4. Now, before I proceed, I want to mention that when you do your fold, you want to make sure that you're going to have enough to cover the sleeve length that you need. So we know that from our calculation, we needed 6 inches more to join to the other part of the sleeve to get the length we wanted. So I know now that I need 1.25 from the edge that I'm going to be cutting off for my radius. So I want to check if I have enough. So that 1.25 plus the 6 will give me 7.25, and then I have enough for my seam allowance at the bottom. And then I'm going to check this way too. So when you fold, you want to first check that, and then you now start to calculate for your radius. Now I want to mention that when you do the radius, you have to be very careful to do the exact amount that you want to get. And actually, it's better for you to even get less than to get something that is too big. You don't want it to be too big. If you wanted to do pleats, or if you wanted to do gather stitch, then you can make this bigger than what the sleeve round is. But if you want the actual length of your sleeve round, then you need to be careful when you're measuring to make sure that you get exactly what you're looking to measure. And again, it is better you get less than you get more. So even if it's smaller, you can always adjust it, but you definitely don't want it to be bigger. So I'm connecting this dot now, and this is what I'm going to be cutting off. Now I'm going to measure. You can either measure from where you have joined your line to measure your 6 inches plus your seam allowance, or you can measure from the center, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to measure my 6 inches plus I'm going to be measuring the full length, which is 1/4 plus my 6 inches, that's 7/1/4, plus 1 inch to turn it in. So that would be 8/1/4, which is 8.25. So I'm going to be doing 8.25 from the edge all across this, and then I'll join that, and that is what we're going to cut. Again, we're cutting all the way from the edge. Then what I'm gonna do is we're going to now join all of that line. Okay, that's what we're going to join now. And then we can cut this out. And this is going to give us a continuous circle. This is just one way of cutting it. So this is what we're going to use when we start to join this to the other part of the sleeve. So I'm going to cut just one more exactly. So what we're just going to do is I'll go up to the machine and I'm just going to join this here, and I'll also join this here, and then I'm going to use a bias tape round about this to turn this part in. So I'm going to be using a bias tape. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. I've added the bias tape all across this, but I'll finish this at the end when I'm done sewing, because I'm going to be doing a hemming. I'm going to be hemming it in right here. So the next thing I'm going to do now is the shoulder area. So I'm going to be joining my shoulder now. So what I'm just simply going to do is match the sleeve. I'm going to be matching the sleeve to the shoulder area. So I'm going to sew the sleeve. The first area I'm going to sew it all the way, and I'm going to do the same thing on the next side too. So that's what I'm going to be doing on both sides of the sleeves. And when I'm done with that, I'm going to now sew the sides, starting from my sleeve round that I have right here. Remember, it's right side to right side when you're sewing, because your seams must be inside and not showing outside the dress, of course. So I'm gonna put this together when I'm done joining the sleeve. Then I'm gonna have my right side to right side, and I'm gonna sew this all across to the armhole area down to the side of the dress of the kaftan. So this is gonna be right side to right side too, and I'm just gonna sew it all across to the end. If you wanted your kaftan to open at the bottom of the kaftan, you just leave that open. You will know how much you want to leave open, and then when you sew it and you get to that length that you want to leave open, you stop right there and lock your stitch right there. That's how to have the sides open. So this is what we have for the continuous circle for the lower part of a sleeve. And when we're ready to do this, we just want to do right side to right side like that. So we're going to pass this sleeve. As you can see, this is already joined on the side. So we're just going to pass it in to this right side facing right side. And then we're going to just start to sew this. When we do, we want to make sure we open this place where we've stitched this together. We're going to open it up like that. Gonna make sure we open it up, and then we're just going to align this all the way across like that. You make sure you align them well, and then you sew it all the way across. So that's what we're going to do, and then you just turn it in like that to form your belt sleeve.